Welcome back, children, to the concluding part of our Class 10 Political Science, Chapter 6 Political Parties. In the earlier video, we had discussed about what is a political party, the meaning and the functions of the political parties. Then we discussed about the different national parties in India and the state parties as well. We also tried to understand why they are necessary for democracy. In other words, we can say we try to understand how crucial the political parties are for the working of democracy. Today, in our concluding session of the political parties, we will try to understand about two more issues, and they are challenges to the political parties and how can parties be reformed. Children, as the parties are the most visible face of democracy, it is but obvious that the people blame parties for whatever is wrong with the working of democracy. Now, throughout the world, people express the strong dissatisfaction with the failure of the political parties to perform their functions well. Now, similar is a condition prevailing in India too. Therefore, the popular dissatisfaction and the criticism has focused on four major problems in the working of the political parties. As a result, the political parties need to face and overcome these challenges in order to remain an effective instruments of democracy. And these challenges are the lack of internal democracy, dynastic successions, role of money and muscle power, and then no meaningful choice to the voters. So children, let us check out the first challenge to the political parties, and they are the lack of internal democracy within the parties. All over the world, it has been seen that there is a tendency in the political parties that the power is concentrated in one or few leaders at the top. Whatever the decisions are, they are taken within themselves. No parties keep any membership registers, nor they hold any organizational meetings. The parties do not even conduct any internal elections regularly. Therefore, we can say that these political parties themselves are not the democratic ones. What is happening inside the political party is not known to the ordinary members of the party. That is, they do not get enough informations within the party. No power is given to the ordinary member by which he can influence the decisions. As a result, the leaders assume more power to make the decisions in the name of the party. Since one or few leaders exercise maximum power in the party, those who disagree with the leadership find it difficult to continue in the party. Now, this shows that the personal loyalty to the leader is more important than the loyalty to the party principles and the policies. Now, the second challenge to the political party is the dynastic succession. This challenge is related to the first challenge because in the first challenge, we have seen that the party has some powerful leaders who make decisions. Now, some of these powerful leaders are the family members of the top leaders. Since most of the political parties do not practice the open and transparent procedures for their functioning, as a result, there are few ways through which the ordinary workers can rise to the top positions in a party. And those who happens to be the leaders in a position of unfair advantage to favor the people who are close to them or maybe their own family members. Now, in many parties, the top positions are always controlled by the members of one family. This is not only unfair to the other members of the party, but also it is bad for democracy, as the people who do not have enough experiences or have less popular support come to occupy the positions of power. Now, this is present in all over the world, and to some extent it includes some of the older democracies also. Now, the third challenge to the political party is the role of money and the muscle power. During elections, as parties are focused only on winning elections, they tend to use shortcuts to win the same. They try to nominate those candidates who have money or who can raise lots of money. Or in some cases, the parties also support the criminals who can win the elections. Now, the rich people and the big companies who give funds to the parties are able to influence the policies and the decisions of the party. Therefore, the Democrats all over the world are worried about the increasing role of the rich people and the big companies in democratic politics. Now, the fourth challenge to the political parties is that very often the parties do not seem to offer a meaningful choice to the voters. In order to offer a meaningful choice, the parties must be significantly different in terms of their ideologies, plans, and policies. But in recent years, we could see the decline in the ideological differences among the parties. In most parts of the world, their fundamental aspects remain the same, but the parties differ in details on how the policies are to be framed and implemented. For example, the difference between the Labour Party and the Conservative Party in Britain is very little. Similarly, in India too, the differences among all the major parties on the economic policies have reduced. There are no options available for those who really want different policies. Sometimes people cannot even elect different leaders either, because the same set of leaders keep on shifting from one party to another. Now, children, let us see how can parties be reformed or how can parties be improved. Children, first of all, try to understand that in order to face these challenges, whatever we have seen, the political parties need to be reformed. But the question is, are these political parties willing to reform? If they are, then what has prevented them from reforming so far? And if they are not willing, is it possible to force them to reform? Children, this is not a simple question to answer. In a democracy, the final decision is made by the leaders who represent the political parties. People can replace them by another set of party leaders. But if all of them do not wish to reform, how can anyone force them to change? So, there are some of the recent efforts and suggestions in our country to reform these political parties and its leaders. Like, the constitution was amended to prevent the MLAs and MPs from changing the parties. Now, this was done because many elected representatives were indulging in defection in order to become the ministers or for some cash rewards. But now the law says that if any MLA or MP changes the party, then he or she will lose the seat in the legislature. Now, this new law has helped in bringing the defection down. At the same time, this has made any dissent even more difficult. Not only that, but the MPs and MLAs have to accept whatever the party leaders decide. Secondly, the Supreme Court has passed an order to reduce an influence of money and criminals. Accordingly, it has become mandatory for every candidate who contests the elections to file an affidavit giving details about his or her property and the criminal cases pending against him or her. The new system has made a lot of information available to the people, but there is no system of check whether these informations given by the candidate is true, and we also do not know whether it has led to the decline with the influence of the rich and the criminals. Then the Election Commission has also passed an order making it necessary for the political parties to hold their organizational elections and also to file their income tax returns. The political parties have started doing so, but sometimes it is just a formality. It is not clear whether this step has led to a greater internal democracy within the political parties or not. Besides these children, there are many suggestions often made to reform the political parties, like a law should be made to regulate the internal affairs of the political parties. It should be made compulsory for the political parties to maintain a register of its members, to follow its own constitution, to have an independent authority, to act as a judge in case of party disputes, to hold open elections to the highest posts. It should be mandatory for the political parties to give a minimum number of tickets, that is about 1/3 to the women candidates. And also to provide a quota for women in the decision-making bodies of the party. There should be a state funding of elections, the government should give parties money to support their election expenses. Now, this support should be given in kind like the petrol, paper, then telephone, and so on. Or it could be given in terms of cash on the basis of the votes secured by the party in the previous election. But these suggestions have not yet been accepted by the political parties. Whenever these are accepted, then this could definitely lead to some improvement. But we must be very careful about the legal solutions to the political problems, because too many regulations to the political parties can be counterproductive. This could force all the parties to find ways to cheat the laws. On the other hand, the political parties will not agree to pass a law that they do not like. There are two other ways in which the political parties can be reformed. One is the people can put pressure on the political parties. This can be done through the petitions, publicity, and agitations. The ordinary people, pressure groups, movements, and the media as well can play an important role in this. If the political parties feel that they would lose the public support by not taking up the reforms, then they would become more serious about their reforms. Then, secondly, the political parties can improve if those who want to join the political parties, then the quality of the democracy depends on the degree of the public participation. It is difficult to reform the politics if the ordinary people do not take part in it and simply criticize from outside. The problem of the bad politics can be solved by more or better politics. So, children, with this we end our chapter. Children, read the chapter well, go through all the contents properly, take good care of your health, and have a good day.